Tonight on Star Trek Wars, we exorcise a demon.
Space, the final frontier. These are the voyages of
Star Trek Wars. Pew, pew, pew.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jeremy, and welcome to Year 10 of Star Trek Wars, your official Star Trek bootleg podcast. Tonight, I am joined once again by my lovely co-partner and co-host, Chelsea. Hello, Chelsea.
Hello.
For another round of Say It With Me, everybody. Next in Q. But the Q is capitalized with a dash because it's a Trek pun, the podcast. Yes, next in Q, the Star Trek Wars sensation, Tachyon sweeping the nation. Chelsea, how the hell are you?
Good. Very good.
What have you been up to?
Just painting, working.
Painting and working.
Painting and working.
Happy 2024.
Yes, thank you.
You're very welcome.
Yeah, I haven't seen you since Christmas, so it's been a little weird, huh?
Yeah, it's one of the reasons why I want to start the podcast. Like, I haven't seen my wife in a while. Get her a room where she's contractually obligated to talk to me.
And say nice things only, of course.
Of course. Speaking of which, I want to get this out of the way real quick. If you're listening right now, you know what we're going to discuss tonight. And for Voyager fans, the mere thought of hearing me cover a Voyager episode is enough for you to bounce early, and I would understand that. But hear me out before you do. I promise we're not going to be bashing Voyager here. There's so much hate and anger out there that I'm done with that. So I just want to tell you straight up, the days of needlessly and ruthlessly bashing Voyager just for the sake of it are over. I'm tired of all the hate everywhere for things people love. People click on a podcast or video about something they like. They want to celebrate that thing, not be told why they're wrong and that it's dumb. And there's just too much of that nowadays. Just because a Trek show may not be my favorite, it doesn't mean it's not somebody's. And it doesn't mean I'm right. So it's just, I got to rethink things. It's a new year, new me, new ADHD middle-age diagnosis, and dare I say, a new day of Star Trek Wars. Gone is the cynicism that plagued my thoughts a decade ago, which in time, that hole has been replaced with optimism, hope, and other life-affirming, boring-ass shit. So if you tuned in hoping for an old-fashioned Voyager bashing, you might be slightly disappointed. On the other hand, if you're a big Voyager fan, you no longer have to brace for impact when listening to us. That's not to say we won't criticize something when it's ridiculous, because that's usually half the fun. But it means I'm going to give every Trek I watch the same courtesy I always gave Deep Space Nine. And that's just a softer whistle, baby. That's a sports reference. In basketball terms, I'm going to treat every Trek series like the refs treat Joel Embiid. And I've stopped treating Voyager like the refs treat Nikola Jokic. And I'm sure, putting it that way, everyone is on the same page. Chelsea, are you excited for today's episode?
I am, actually.
If you are new to this, which you should be since we haven't done one of these before, what we do is randomly pick three Star Trek episodes, and you guys at home on the Star Trek Wars Council get to vote for the one we cover. Stay tuned, for at the end of this episode, we will spin Fortune's sweet Dabo wheel again to determine your three choices for next time. And if you want to join in and be part of the Star Trek Wars Council culture and participate in voting, head over to our Facebook page. You can find us by searching for Star Trek Wars. The council should pop up right at the top. So join in, vote, and your comments could be potentially read on air. It's a great community. We're all there, very active, and love talking Trek with you. Now, the poll choices. At the end of our Season 10 premiere, Connor and I spun the Great Wheel of the Galaxy. And the three episodes you guys at home had a chance to vote for this go-around was Star Trek Picard's The Stargazer, Voyager's Demon, and Enterprise's 2 Days and 2 Nights. Tough choices. We had a few comments from you guys at home explaining your thought processes in choosing. Barbara Whipple says, "What a choice. The Picard episode is probably the most interesting, but was part of a bad story that was erased the next season. The Enterprise episode is pretty bad, but we hear that it got an award for hairstyling."
What?
Yeah, it can't be all bad, can it?
Wait, what kind of award is that?
The only one Star Trek seems to get, Chelsea.
Wait, I need to look that up.
It's an Emmy. That's our
Are you
only Emmys.
serious?
That's our only Emmys, yeah.
They give Emmys for hair?
Yeah. I know it. We're not bashing Voyager anymore. But did you know that Voyager's Threshold won an Emmy over Deep Space Nine's The Visitor for makeup and hairstyles? Going on with what Barbara says, she says the Voyager episode isn't very good either, except that it was retroactively improved the next year with a follow-up episode, Course Oblivion, which maybe we need to follow up later too, depending on how you feel about this episode. But that was a very solid sequel to this.
Oh,
in season 5.
Oh.
Barbara continues, "Not that I liked the way it turned out, but I liked figuring out how those two stories fit together. However, if you really want a good laugh, check out Jammer's review of Demon." And that's old school, Chelsea. Like before forums and stuff, there's a Jammer's review, and that's where you would go to see all the like reviews of every Star Trek episode. And it was always, that was like
Reddit?
Even before, like this is like late 90s, like early 2000s.
On the internet?
On the internet for sure. But like a
dial-up?
website. Yeah. Yeah, like AOL.
Yes.
And then our very own Jordan says, "The Stargazer is probably the best of these episodes, but I've been on a bit of an Enterprise kick recently after watching one episode." But the results, based off the comments, it sounded like the Stargazer would be these week's winners. But even Barbara and Jordan both didn't vote for Stargazer. In a surprise twist, a silent majority rose up to split the results 50-50 between Stargazer and Demon. So, sorry, Enterprise. I guess 50-50 isn't a majority, but a silent equality rose up. And as we've always established, because we certainly don't make things up on the fly as we go, when a poll is tied, the tiebreaker goes to the leader of the household. Chelsea,
woo!
You chose the Voyager episode Demon.
I did.
Why?
I wasn't super impressed with Picard season 2.
That's fair.
Also, I didn't see most of Voyager, so I don't find joy in rewatching things I've already seen. So the idea of rewatching an episode and then reviewing something that I've already seen once, just no. Give me like the toothpicks under like the toenails. I'd rather do that. I don't do rewatches. It's tough.
It is, unless you're like me, whereas I don't remember. So,
well, I don't remember either, and that makes it even harder. It's like, oof, okay, so that did not leave an impression.
All right, real quick, since our hiatus, our exposure on Apple Podcasts has plummeted like the saucer section of the Big D. Leaving us a 5-star review would truly be a huge help in getting more people to stumble across this silly, decades-old podcast. If you find it in your heart to do so, we will read that review on air. Now, let's get started. Star Trek Voyager, Season 4, Episode 24, Demon. Critically low on energy, Voyager limps to a hellish Y-class demon planet for much-needed neutronium. Harry and Tom beam down and make accidental contact with a gooey life form. All right, Chelsea. Demon. Questions, concerns, thoughts?
I liked it.
Yeah. I liked it too.
Yeah. I wasn't expecting that.
I'm not just saying that because of all the stuff I just said. This was a good episode.
2024. This is the genuine Jeremy. No, I actually really, truly liked it. I thought that Neelix was good.
Yes.
Let's see. I do not agree with quote unquote Mr. Vulcan's like taking his pillows away and his like blankets and his book. Like, That's not up for you to decide. It's not like he was like, it's not like he had like a little mini U-Haul behind him. Like he had everything in his arms. Why? I didn't love that.
Yeah, that's kind of how they were setting that up. Like he was taking too much stuff, but like he's going to, the blankets.
He's carrying it all in his arms.
The blankets aren't going to take up any more space than.
No, and then the pillows and then like the one little book. Like literature is an essential. So shut up, Mr. Vulcan.
Yeah, it's not even a pad. Like it's a literal book.
Yeah, like I don't know. That irked me. And I've never been like Team Neelix, but well, you know, here I am, I guess.
Maybe in this new era, it's Tuvok I hate.
I've never liked him, so I'm okay with that.
But I agree with you on the Neelix front. I thought overall I thought that was a really good first scene with Tuvok.
Yeah.
Where you feel for Neelix.
Does he ever call him Tuvok, or has it always been Mr. Vulcan?
Yeah, as far as I remember, it's usually Mr. Vulcan.
Is that not offensive?
Hey, past Jeremy was right there with you.
Well, I think
weird. It's kind of weird. Yeah.
Like, is it I don't know, does Neelix think that he's being respectful?
I certainly don't think it's a derogatory.
No, it's not malicious, but it's weird.
Yeah, it's just a thing he only does because he doesn't call B'Elanna like Miss Klingon.
No, and like if Janeway was like, Neelix, where's my coffee? And he was like, oh, I'm so sorry, Miss Human. That'd be weird. Strange. But that's what he did. And it's like, maybe it's just like their thing.
It's just their thing.
Maybe they're like the Odo and the Quark of Voyager, where they have like that.
They do have that kind of like odd couple.
Back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
They do.
Yeah. Well, Mr. Vulcan can suck it. That was not okay. I thought it was fun. It was good. I definitely made some crude and rude remarks about a couple of the characters.
It wouldn't be Star Trek Wars without it.
While we were watching it, but I liked everything else about it. I never realized that Tom Paris was funny because like I feel like I was like pre-programmed to hate him and hate everything about Voyager. Mm-hmm. So that was kind of fun to just like wipe the slate clean and like actually get to enjoy it.
It's just like listen to him.
Yeah. There's only 3 characters on Voyager that I like actively would lock inside of a building and set it on fire.
And are any of these ones played by people you've met in real life?
One of them is.
Okay.
But, you know, I've also met the Doctor, and I've met Neelix, and I've met Tuvok.
Yes.
And they're all fantastic, and none of them made that list.
Yeah.
Just saying.
I've met Kate Mulgrew, and she's a powerhouse.
Oh, my God. Red is my favorite.
There's something... You're just in the same room with her. She has a presence that is like, she's the captain. Like,
yes,
she is in charge.
She is. She's got like that baddie energy. And like, oh my God, I absolutely adore her. Like as a human, as Janeway, as Rhett, like everything about
She's
Kate
wonderful.
Mulgrew is just freaking mind blowing.
Going back on Tom Paris a little bit, I thought it was funny because like 20 minutes into the episode, you turned to me and I was like, wait a minute, is Tom Paris funny? And I was like, Chelsea, that's his only character.
I thought he was like, I don't know, supposed to be like the hot guy or something.
That's all he does is crack wise.
Well, I just never heard it because I was supposed to hate it.
Yeah, you don't hear through the hate.
No. I don't know.
Yeah, he's cute.
He's super cute.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Harry Kim was fine.
Yeah.
In this.
Harry Kim was fine.
There's a couple issues I have with this episode. I wish that 7 of 9 would have cut her losses and not saved Chakotay.
It's exerting a lot of energy trying to pull someone up out of a pit.
Yeah. Also, especially when that somebody is fucking Robert Beltran. Like, bro, he wouldn't do it for you. Don't.
I think we narrowed down 2 of the 3.
Don't. Okay, like it's 2024. It's a new you. It's a better you. Like feminism. Come on. Like women supporting women, not women supporting people that lie on their resume and say they're Native American when they're actually not, and then also like MAGA heads that refuse to adapt or like admit that maybe they're not the smartest person in the room, but just feels like maybe.
I feel like you're mixing the two characters a bit in there, but you're not incorrect. Although Beltran, as far as I know, did not claim to be Native American. They just hired him to be a Native American.
Right, and he didn't bother like stepping in and saying like, "Hey, turns out though, guys, like,
hey, that's on Berman and Braga. They're probably like, we don't care."
Oof.
Yeah.
Oof, I hate all of that. Okay. I see the error in my ways. She still should have let that sack of shit drop to the bottom of the planet like the sack of shit that he is.
True.
In both real life and also as a character. I do not like Chakotay. Chakotay is weirdly, so the vibes I get from him are like weirdly misogynistic, seeing as to how he's the number one to the first like female captain. What is that? Like, he's gross. He's ick. So when he goes to B'Elanna Torres and like she wants to go with him and he's like, oh, I need somebody with a cool head. Yeah. So she suggests like, well, you need to take Seven. Yeah. Seven is basically a robot at this point. Yes. But he does not want to take her because she's not going to comply. She's not going to like bow down and like take his like commands and like, she's smarter than him. She's more clever. She's more creative. Like she's everything that he could never be as a human or a character. And he's so just like ridiculously threatened by that it's laughable.
And he should be. I mean, without spoiling the final season of Picard, Seven does pretty all right for herself.
Yeah.
No sign of Chakotay, but I agree with this stuff. But I am going to say this, and it's very controversial. I also thought this was a solid Chakotay episode. I thought he was fine. I thought he was good. I'm agreeing with what you're saying, but like when B'Elanna brought up Seven, like he didn't shoot it down. Like obviously he didn't think of it, but he did agree that she's got the coolest head and took her. I thought he was really good with handling the weird situation on the planet with weird Tom Paris walking around. He was good enough to like handle like, this is weird. We're not going to breathe the atmosphere at this moment. Maybe you should just come back with us. I thought, because I agree with you, I do not like the character of Chakotay. He did not bother me in this episode.
It would have been better if he breathed the atmosphere.
Sure. You also mentioned something about like Chakotay boss.
Yeah, well, I mean, I feel like any woman, I almost said female, like Quark, any female, any woman is probably pretty familiar with the whole male boss where, yeah, God forbid you give an idea, right? You're smarter than them. They're threatened by you. Like that's the Chakotay 7 vibe. In fact, that's kind of like Chakotay with everybody except for Janeway. And that's because Janeway will eat him for breakfast. Like I feel like Neelix is probably pretty creative in the kitchen. So like that's not out of the question. So he's probably like a little scared of her. But I can't stand that character. And I don't think it's even like, I feel like if he was played by somebody that I could respect as like human to human, like another human being, I probably wouldn't love it, but I could handle it. I can't with him. And like, that is not a Voyager issue. Like I'm not dissing on Voyager in any way. I cannot stand that person.
I think as characters are written, Chakotay is pretty shallow, but you're right. That in combination with the actor portraying him, that's a bad combo.
Yeah, like I've never seen him in anything outside of Voyager, but he does nothing but what? Trash Star Trek? Yeah. It's just, talk about biting the hand that feeds you, friend. I don't know. He just seems like another, like, small-minded, scared little man. And I'm sorry, you're probably going to have to bleep this next part.
Oh, let me get it ready.
But, like, he just gives off, like, that scared little, like, shrimp dick energy. Perfect. Nailed it, babe. And I just, like, this isn't, like, the political or socio, like, this is not the climate for that. So, I don't know. But I really like Tom Paris.
Hey, that's something.
Yeah, Tom Paris actually reminds me a lot of the singer of my favorite band.
Oh.
Yes, and then like when you get like Demon Tom Paris, I'm like, oh.
Even closer.
Oh, okay. I see you.
That's something to keep an eye on. Your affection for Tom Paris growing forward.
I mean, he's always been hot.
Okay, yeah.
But like, again, I felt like I went into Voyager like with the eye roll, right? Because it was like, you hated it, Connor hated it. When I started like watching any of Star Trek, it was while you guys were doing Star Trek Wars.
Yeah.
And we would go over to like your mom's house and we would all pile on the couch and watch all of the episodes. And it was like 5 hours and everybody was all excited until it got to Voyager. And then it was just like a collective eye roll and like, ugh. So it's like, oh, okay, we hate this. Got it. And then, you know, I knew Kate Mulgrew more so from Orange is the New Black. So seeing her go from Red to like Janeway, which like I do like Janeway. Janeway does command a room. Yeah. However, I do think that the writers maybe didn't do her full justice.
Ooh, red alert.
Yes. Like, this woman deserves the world, and you didn't give her that. So,
but
how dare you? How dare you?
You see flashes like Janeway in this episode.
Kate Mulgrew is absolutely like split down the middle, like half Janeway, half Red. Mm-hmm. Like that is her. And that is why I want to be her when I grow up.
I love Janeway in this episode, how she handled everything at the end.
Yes.
Super commanding.
I feel like Picard, and hot take on this one, maybe even Cisco, because based on what Cisco's going through right now in the timeline, they would have just killed them. They would have left them. They would have not tried to help this planet and this species, even though it didn't harm the crew in any way. It would have been easier to just point, aim, and fire, right?
If you're saying like at this like season 4 of Voyager, so this is like post First Contact Picard, and this is Dominion War Cisco.
No, you're right.
I might agree with you. I think
maybe Picard wouldn't have blown him up. He would have just like talked the whole time and then like searched for a saddle, and it would have been weird. Yeah. And then Riker would have like jumped over the back of a chair, and it would have just been chaos.
But this is like movie Picard, so I think usually 90% of the time I would say Picard would absolutely find a diplomatic way out of this, but we're in action movie Picard era at this time, so
like saddle searching.
Yeah, saddle searching Picard.
Saddle searching diehard Picard.
I forgot how much I love the theme song. I think the theme to Voyager might just be the best Star Trek theme. What do you got?
It's really good. It is really good. But I don't know. I mean, like that DS9 theme though.
Oh.
Like, and not even like with the visuals, right? Like they're just, I don't know that one is better than the other.
No, they're very different, but beautiful.
They're so pretty.
Yeah.
Like just the orchestral, like it's so full and it's gorgeous and it's so, oh.
They do a great job. They're both telling their show's story.
Yeah. But like if you just like play it in your head without like the visuals, they're just, I don't know. I don't think one's better than the other, but I don't think it's the best. I think it's tied for first.
Okay. Yeah, I can agree with that.
I'll tell you what's not tied for first, Enterprise.
Oh, come on now. Chelsea.
I have to put this hate somewhere.
You didn't even have to say the name, Chelsea. We all knew. We all knew. We think about landing the ship. What do you think about that?
I think it looks tiny and adorable, like its little legs are too small, like he doesn't go to leg day. It reminded me of our old dog, Basil. Where it's like built like a table with like little like toothpick legs.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, he's adorable. I don't really care one way or another if they land the ship because I'm not that versed in this. Like, yeah, I know gravity's a bitch and all those things,
Sure.
but like, you know, if it works for the story, I say go for it.
I mean, it happens about as much as the Enterprise D saucer separates. Like, it's a thing.
Yeah.
It's costly on the budget, so you don't see it often.
Wait, didn't they like shoot that into the sun or something?
What? What?
Wait, no, they would. Never mind.
Didn't who shoot what into the sun? Chelsea?
Nothing. Everything's fine over here. Oh, they whipped around the sun to like get the whales or something.
Yeah, the slingshot effect in Star Trek 4, The Voyage Home with a bird of prey.
But the one time Beverly Crusher flew the ship, didn't she like have to separate and like crash it into a planet?
No, but no, in Generations is where it got destroyed. But it was already critical by the time Deanna Troi took the helm. And so she was just piloting it it was already out of control.
Yeah.
So she actually did a great job of landing it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's awkward.
Yeah. I agree. I used to be the gatekeeping kind too. Like they're built in space. They're too heavy. Who cares, man?
For Earth's gravity, yes.
Oh, that's
perhaps.
good. There you go.
But,
now you're track talking.
Well, it's not the same.
Right. I mean, they're walking around the same though.
Yeah, but that's because they're not them.
Okay. But like this, even in suits?
Well,
maybe the suits are...
Don't they have like the gravity boot things?
Yeah, maybe it's all just helping.
I mean, maybe the doctor was nearby and the TARDIS was creating fake gravity and translating everything.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But it doesn't matter. It's not real.
Yeah, I thought its little legs were cute.
It has cute little legs.
I want to like paint its little legs and then like the Voyager, but like with its little legs with Basil's face.
And the fact that it was kind of necessary to land to tell this story, which I love the premise of this story.
I do too.
It was a great premise, and this is the kind of thing that I wanted more from Voyager anyway, which is we're not just going to some planet of the week. We are running out of resources, and we need to risk going to this demon planet because we have no other choice. That's the kind of stuff like I wish they did more. So I love that. And I love the whole premise of what they found on the planet. And that's exactly Star Trek, exploring, finding a new life form. It's got that classic Star Trek. It's got twists, and it's got that final twist where they're battling each other. And then they realize they're just misunderstanding each other.
Yes.
And Janeway, who's showing amazing force and a great captain, but then realizes it with her compassion. Like, wait a second, you just want to live.
The one thing that I would mark this down for is the fact that nobody said it's a demon class planet. Want to know why? Because it's like Y class.
Okay.
So, I'll never forgive them for that. But
no, if they had
the rest of it was really good.
CSI kind of cold open, maybe.
Yeah. I don't know. It was really good. I guess I thought Harry Kim was good too.
I didn't mind anybody. B'Elanna, I thought she had one scene. Well, she had two scenes. Yeah. Because she got to also interact with Janeway.
Yeah.
And I thought that was great. It's always awesome when I'm reminded that Janeway came from like a science background. And that makes her super unique as a captain because then she's not just the one giving orders. She's the one like, hey, give me those results. I want to take a look and see what I can find. Yeah. And then you get a pretty awesome scene with Janeway and the chief engineer, B'Elanna. They're the ones that kind of discover that this this goo is alive.
It's sentient.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was really good.
I liked that. And yeah, I like her delivery when she asked the doctor, like, hey, yeah, no, I know you ran your test, but like, I would like to run my own. Like, it was never like condescending. It never gave the vibe like, I don't trust your work. I just want to like.
She wants to take a peek.
Yeah,
she's curious.
Do it myself. Like,
she
that's
loves
why
that
I'm
stuff.
here.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that was all really good. 7, asking Harry Kim to point out an exact example of what was beautiful. I was like, girl, I love her so much.
Yeah.
Like, I relate to that character so much. So, Alex, one of my oldest friends, you know Alex, right after I met you, and I was telling her about your podcast, she was a Voyager fan, and she was watching Voyager, and she was like, oh my gosh, there's actually a Star Trek fan, or a Star Trek character that, like, you remind me of. And I was like, what do you mean? And she's like, oh yeah, 7 of 9.
Oh, wow.
Because, like, she has no feelings. I was like,
oh.
But now I'm like, I get it. Like, show me exactly where it's pretty, Harry. Exactly.
Yeah. What are you saying?
Like, because I don't get it. And I appreciate like how blunt she is. And I also appreciate, well, that's more Picard, but like I appreciate like seeing the progression of like that character through like the Trek universe.
And you do get a good progression of her on Voyager too. Like she is one of the best like character developed characters on Voyager, which is crazy. She was only on for the last few seasons. So
I wish they would have let her like ad lib, like in character though.
Yeah, that's a Star Trek no.
Because, well, there would have been a lot of probably bleepy bleeps. Like when Chakotay walks in and he's like, what are you doing? She's like, I'm working. And he's like, blah, 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 blah. Everything's supposed to be shut down. What are you doing? She should have just been like, I said I'm working, bitch. And then she should have dropped his ass off the cliff.
Just those 2 quick changes.
Yeah. No, everything would have been perfect. I don't know. I really liked it though. I like it.
I did too. I really did. It had all the Star Trek qualities. There wasn't any characters that I had an issue with. In fact, most of the characters I really, really enjoyed. The Doctor, of course, is amazing.
He's so catty. I love him. That man gives me life.
I got a question about the Doctor, though.
Oh.
Does he need the lights on?
No, he's petty, and that's why I love him.
Right, because those aren't real eyeballs.
Yeah.
He's not real.
Well, and I don't think that he was expecting to, like, I think the Doctor is just, like, he's very, like, realistic when it comes to, like, I'm not a person, right? So, like, I have to be bold, and I have to, like, put up this, like, wall because, like, people aren't going to treat me like I'm a human because I'm a hologram. And so I think that he is kind of always on the defensive, unless it's with 7. And so he was pretty defensive with Neelix and the rest of like the crew that needed to stay there. And then when Neelix was like, if you ever need a place to stay, like that was like a really huge moment for me. He's like, oh, so this is what friends are. Like they don't just see me as like something that they can like kind of like suck back into this like little memory chip and plug in when they need me. Like they care.
And a generally sweet moment from Neelix.
Yes.
And because he meant it.
And I don't hate Neelix. Like, I still think Neelix looks like a mix between like a Lisa Frank painting and Dog the Bounty Hunter. Like that's never going to change, but like that is not his fault. I don't have issue with him.
No, good.
Other than he looks like a Lisa Frank Dog the Bounty Hunter.
Sure, of course. All right, you got anything else?
I don't think so. I liked it.
I got one fun trivia.
Oof. Okay.
Garrett Wang has claimed that the scene in this episode where Tom Paris asks Harry Kim if he has put on weight was a slight against the male actors on Voyager, as they all had put on weight during the 4th season. Wang claimed that he asked executive producer Brandon Braga why this issue was brought up on the show, and Braga allegedly responded, quote, Well, if you and Robert Duncan McNeil continue on your eating ways, we'll have to change the name of the show to Star Trek Voyager Pigs in Space.
Oh my God.
Yikes.
You're not going to get pity from me. I'm all for body shaming males at this point.
Considering what Jerry Ryan is being...
Yeah. No, considering women being body shamed throughout all of history and still today.
It ain't right then, Chelsea. It's not right now. It's not right for anybody.
No, and body shaming is never okay. But that's hysterical.
Right. Yeah, because no one was asking about hey, maybe 7 of 9 can just not be
how come
painted
they weren't
into
just
a suit?
Hey, Robert, your face tattoo doesn't fit on your face anymore. Should we change it to Voyager Pigs in Space though?
Yeah, your full what began as a full face tattoo is now an eye patch.
Yeah. Yeah. Now it's just a little I don't know. Tramp stamp. What used to cover your face now covers your temple. Sir, we need to talk.
Terrible.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, considering her waist is probably 22-ish, 20, maybe 26 inches around.
Yeah.
God forbid she would have put on weight, huh?
Yeah. Until you
also,
actually...
I didn't notice that they gained weight.
No.
They looked fine.
Yeah, it's just, Berman and Braga, just being awful.
Yeah, it sucks. Why can't we just watch shows and movies where the people look like normal people?
Yes. Agree.
Except for Star Trek, aliens and stuff.
Sure.
I don't mean impossible.
But they could be an alien with a
beauty standards.
You could be an alien with a gut.
Yeah, Morn.
Yeah.
That's his whole character. All the chins.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I enjoyed it. I didn't think I would ever say I enjoyed an episode of Voyager, but
Chelsea, if you had to rate this episode on a scale of 1 to 10, what do you think you would give Demon?
I would probably give it an 8.
Oh, yeah.
I really liked it.
Let's see. I'm afraid to pull up what we gave it. Ow. So afraid that I just tried to break the table with my kneecap. Okay, Demon. We covered this episode on September 24th, 2017 on Star Trek Wars episode 98 titled Grease Blightning. Demon had an overall score of a 6.1. Yeah, let's see. 6.1. Lowest score, not from me. Thank God. Actually came from Connor. Connor gave it a 4.
You're filled with contempt and sarcasm, and I'm tired of being the target of all your hostility.
Jordan and myself gave it 6s.
Okay.
This is season 4. So Melanie gave it a 7.
Okay.
And the Star Trek Wars Council gave it a 7.5.
Okay.
And I think watching it today, if I was reviewing it today, I was thinking 7.5. Maybe a 7, but certainly not a 6.
Yeah, I was tossing up between 7 and 8.
Yeah, very, very strong. Just good Star Trek outing. Out of 169 episodes of Voyager, this ranks at number 79. On the old time list of 800 and something episodes of Classic, this is number 415. Probably could have been higher.
Yeah.
All right, now it's time to find out the 3 episodes you guys at home will be voting for next time. Keep in mind the wheel includes every episode of Star Trek, both classic and modern. That's 904 episodes in order of appearance. So it's every episode beginning with number 1, The Cage, through episode 904, which is the season 4 finale of Lower Decks, Old Friends, New Planets. And if you come at me with, actually, Jeremy, The Cage, though shot as the series pilot, never actually aired. Yeah, I get it, and I admire you, but you know what we're doing here. So let's spin that wheel. Okay, I landed on episode 403. That would take us to season 4, Deep Space Nine, episode Bar Association. That's the Union episode. I love that episode.
Okay.
Bar Association. Yay, we got our first DS9. Let's see what it'll bring us. First, pick 2. $8.08. Oh, that's super late. I think we got a modern track. That is taking us to the season 2 Lower Decks episode, Where Pleasant Fountains Lie. We've covered that on Star Trek Wars. Chelsea, I'm pretty sure that was the first Jeffrey Combs as Agamus.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I
love a good evil Combs computer.
All right. And finally, the episode you guys at home will be able to vote for is 520. Well, that takes us right back to season 4 Voyager. Living Witness. I love that episode too. That's literally the episode before Demon.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Super great Doctor episode. Super great Doctor episode.
Ooh.
Okay, we got three good ones there, folks. Head over to the Star Trek Wars Council on Facebook and cast your vote on which of these 3 classic Trek episodes we talk about next.
Now, at the risk of being rude. Yes, once again, I've overstayed my welcome.
Yes, you're right. It is time we leave orbit for the week. Star Trek Wars is available on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, and anywhere else fine podcasts are heard. We now have over 360 episodes stretching across 10 seasons of content. Seasons 1 through 7 cover our reviews of the original series through Enterprise. Season 8 is where you'll find the Trek films. Season 9 holds all of our modern Trek coverage that we've done, including our reviews of the final season of Picard and the upcoming final season of Discovery. Season 10 is where you are right now, where all our new 2024 non-disco episodes will be. If you want to support us in a non-financial way, the absolute best thing you could do is take a minute and leave an iTunes, Apple Podcast review. That might not seem like much, but it is huge for the
Al Gore?
rhythms. You can also find us on Twitter at The Star Trek Wars. Chelsea, as always, thanks for doing this with me. Where can the people find you?
I am sometimes on the council page. I have a painting page on Instagram, if anybody's interested. Happy Hellhound. And yeah, that's pretty much what I do.
And you're wonderful at it.
Thanks.
As for me, well, when I'm not talking Trek, you can also find myself and my son Connor sometimes discussing all the Bond films at the Bonding Together podcast, now available on Apple Podcasts and Spotify.
Ooh.
Coming up next in our season 10 run, we have some fun specials on the horizon. Connor and I will be back in studio discussing our coldest takes from back in the day on our 2024 Apology Tour. Then, in our new special, Temporal Investigations, a new recurring series, Jordan will be traveling back in time to discuss his 10 favorite episodes we reviewed before he became part of the podcast. The 10-part series will involve some fun time-traveling hijinks, combining audio from our early days at Star Trek Wars with new material, and takes from today. Well, until then, we'll see you out there. That's not cheesy, right?
I like it.
Q! But I feel like celebrating.
I don't!
All right.
All of it.
All right. I'm not using that.
Until next time.
Thanks for listening to Star Trek Wars.